Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're doing our round 11 preview for the 2025 NRL Supercoach season. So just a quick one today. Obviously lockout is a bit later because of the Women's State of Origin, but also it has been a hectic week and there's a bit to go yet. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. So I guess before we talk captains, we will do the trade-ins and trade-outs. So this week, number one trade out, Matt Nicholson. Sounds like he's out long term with that injury, so trade him out. Greg Marzu, they reckon he could be back sooner than expected, but I think with the price that he is, you could sell. I'm probably going to hold just because I've got bigger priorities this week, but he may go next week if I need the numbers. Nathan Cleary, number three. So he's one I'm selling, so I can't sort of talk people out of it. But it's a unique situation, I think, for myself with the halves that I've got. But, you know, I'd try and hold him if you can. I'm holding him in the other formats. It's just for Supercoach. I did want to get the cheapie in this week. Corey Horsburgh. So back this week, and not a lock for the Queensland team. Probably will get the gig, but I think until he's named next week, you could probably hold him. So probably one I'd hold. Shibasaki, yeah, he's not playing next week. He's made some cash. I think you can get rid of him. Kalen Ponga is one I'm trading out this week. Probably or should play Origin next week. So, you know, the Knights' good buy coverage actually works against Kalen Ponga. So for that reason, he's not a keeper, so just chop him. Adam Dewey, so not sure why people are off him. Just one bad game for the Tigers last week. I guess he doesn't play next week, so if you can do something with that money, yeah, trade out Dewey. Couchman, not sure how long he's out injured for, a couple of weeks, but I guess that's enough where if you need numbers for next week, he can go. Tamale is probably another one I would hold. Should play next week. Has a good game this week against the Titans. So keep the faith with Big Sav. And Thomas Cant, I think, can go. I don't see any of the Newcastle forwards getting a gig in Origin. So I don't think he'll get a spot next week, unfortunately. On the trade-ins list, so number one, Zach Hosking. So probably a lot of people trading Nicholson to Hosking. You know, the numbers stack up. And it's the second most popular trade. So, yeah, I think that makes sense to bring in Hosking. Again, I've probably prioritised elsewhere, but, you know, it's probably one I'll want to get on next week. What's his break even? Hopefully he doesn't go too massive against the Titans this week. King Toggy at number two is the cheapie of the week. Obviously, trading in the halves is a bit of a challenge, but I think, you know, there's enough options that you can look to bring him in this week. He's not going to set the world on fire with points, but does free up some cash to work elsewhere. Dylan Lucas is a keeper. Bring him in anytime you like. Fletcher Sharp's pretty much in that same category as well, so both great options for next week and beyond. So get him in now. Nico Hines should play next week, so good option if you're upgrading in the halves. Herbie Farnworth will play next week, so bring him in. Corey Allen as a cheapie doesn't play next week, so unless you really need that money to spend elsewhere, yeah, not sure who you're trading out for him. He's probably a trap. Connor Tracy will play next week. Yeah, sort of a pod type keeper. Could bring him in. Aaron Clark is a nice option, but very expensive. But if you've got the cash, bring him in. And Viliami Kikau has the ability to score big, guaranteed to play during the buys. So, yeah, he's one you could probably bring in as well at a slightly cheaper price than Aaron Clark. So the captaincy options this week, we are looking at the top 10% guys that know what they're doing. and they're leaning towards the fullbacks. So Scotty Drink, Paps, if you've got them, you could definitely captain them. Or the safe options, Payne Haas, Terrell May. So and if we quickly do some maths, that adds up to about 85%, give or take. Someone will correct me in the comments. So the rest is, I guess, a bit more of the point of difference options. So Nico Hines against Melbourne, that's very brave. Nathan Cleary, I'm sure that's a holdover from people who haven't locked in their moves yet. Tedesco against the Dogs is a really brave move, given the Bulldogs are pretty good defensively. Hudson Young, I do like as a real point of difference shout against the Titans. And looking to push for Origin, he should be up for a big one. Jerome Hughes, I guess if he's your main half, makes sense, but I like those big four. And Big Tino, I suppose, is the next best forward safe option against the Raiders. VC, any others? So quite a few people going KP tonight. I suppose if you've got him, he's got to come good at some point. Interesting that there's almost 50% of the top 10% overall still own KP. So that does give me some faith. But in saying that, I am chopping him. Fletcher Sharp, yep, high upside, plays the first game, super easy. Jacob Kiraz, yes, I think the Roosters aren't the worst defensively, but he does have that ability to go big. Dylan Lucas, Herbie Farnworth plays fairly early in the round, so some nice options there as well. But yeah, as I said, my team, I haven't changed it since the round preview, mostly because of time. I haven't really looked too deeply into it, but I am, very keen to bring in Pappy, happy to chop Ponga. And yeah, like I said, wanted to bring in King Togia. Smith's going to make a little bit more cash this week. Metcalf plays next week. Campbell's my keeper at 5'8". So I thought, all things balanced, Cleary's not going to get me anything for the next 2 weeks. And then I could probably flip Metcalf back to Cleary, and then, work it out from there. So that's the plan, was King Togia down so I could upgrade to Pappy. I guess as a bit of insurance, I think the Bulldogs will do well tonight, but in case the Roosters get an upset, I think Teddy will be at the forefront of that. So I've VC'd him, and just captain Payne Haas against the Dragons without Couchman is a big out. I think he could potentially dominate on a fast Sunday arvo at Suncorp. So that's the preview. Just I guess one little announcement to wrap it up. Um, like I said, everything's been pretty busy at the moment, and part of that is preparing to go on a little journey over to Lady Elliot Island with the Misso. So there won't be the traditional round review on Monday, but I am going to try and come up with something a little bit different over the weekend to tide you guys over. I will be back in time to do the round 12 preview on Friday, where we'll talk all the trades and all the round review stuff and that. So hang tight until then. But as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the Supercoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.